Good afternoon, everyone. If we could get, if you could take your seats. So, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ed Schlesinger. I'm the Benjamin T. Rome Dean of the Whiting School of Engineering, and it is truly my great pleasure to welcome you to the installation of Mathias Unberath as the John C. Malone Associate Professor. First of all, thank you all for being here today to celebrate this special occasion. And I'd like to offer a special welcome to Mathias, of course, and his wife, Iris, as well as all of their family and friends who are here or online. The installation of a professorship is a particularly wonderful moment in the life of an institution. It allows us to recognize the generosity of our friends, as well as the distinguished career and great personal devotion of a particular faculty member. And although he's not here in person, I do want to recognize the critical investment that Dr. John Malone is making in the future of our school and our ability to effect positive change in the world by supporting the Malone Center for Engineering and Healthcare and allowing us to encourage the work of our most promising young faculty like Mathias. First, a little background on John Malone. He received his master's degree from Johns Hopkins in industrial management in 1964 and his PhD in operations research in 1969. Throughout his career, Dr. Malone has combined the superb analytical abilities shown in his doctoral work with intense business acumen to create large enterprises. He is chairman of Liberty Media Corporation, Liberty Global, and Liberty Interactive Corporation. These are amazing companies with an extraordinary range of media, communications, entertainment, and digital commerce businesses. Beyond his business success, Dr. Malone has had great influence on society through his philanthropic initiatives. His generosity to Johns Hopkins is already making a huge difference with these professorships and also the Malone Center. The Malone Center for Engineering and Healthcare takes advantage of Johns Hopkins University's history of excellence at the intersection of engineering and medicine. It was established in order to enable the most important advances in the 21st century in medicine and healthcare, which we rely upon, close collaborations between clinicians, scientists, caregivers, and engineers to advance the practice of medicine through engineering. The Malone Professorships and the Malone Center for Engineering and Healthcare recognize the tremendous potential that exists at the intersection of engineering and healthcare. And what makes the Malone Professorships and those that are appointed this title so unique and so meaningful is that they give us the opportunity to look beyond the confines of our respective fields and spark innovation and support across our institution. And so, John, if you are online, we are, and even if you're not, we are very grateful for your generosity and your commitment to the Whiting School over many years, and especially in this moment as we honor you for creating the John C. Malone Professorships. So, with that, a little bit about endowed professorships. They serve our mission of teaching, research, and service in an especially powerful and visible way, combining the permanence of endowment with what truly makes the university great, its ability to attract the best faculty minds it can identify anywhere in the world, and to bring them to Hopkins to ensure that they and their discipline will flourish when they arrive. The faculty members who hold endowed chairs bring luster to the name of Johns Hopkins. They conduct some of our most important research, and they frequently attract the brightest and most promising students, those who understandably want to work with acknowledged leaders in their fields. We are proud of the fact that Johns Hopkins University now boasts almost 300 named professorships, with the Whiting School holding 63 of these. An endowed professorship is indeed a coveted honor and recognition for many faculty members. At the Whiting School of Engineering, endowed professorships and faculty scholar awards play a pivotal role in the academic excellence of the school and the Johns Hopkins University. And the Malone professorships are particularly important for their interdisciplinary nature and their potential to increase the strengths of Johns Hopkins overall in the engineering and healthcare field. And these awards are made possible, as I said, thanks to the extraordinary generosity and commitment of people with a demonstrated dedication to learning and discovery. Now, Mathias, a few people are going to speak on your behalf today, but let me be the first to officially say congratulations on this well-deserved honor. You have most definitely made an indelible mark on the world already, and we are proud to have you as a member of the Whiting School family. Okay. That's for Mathias. And at this moment, I'd like to welcome Alexis Battle, Director of the Malone Center for Engineering and Healthcare, to the podium to say a few words about Mathias's contributions to the Malone Center. Alexis.
Thank you, Ed. As Ed said, my name is Alexis Battle, and I'm a professor of biomedical engineering and the director of the Malone Center for Engineering and Healthcare. I'm happy to be here today to celebrate Mathias's installation. I first got to know Mathias when he was first transitioning into his faculty role. I actually really got to talk to him closely over a chance dinner with friends and colleagues, and we started talking about his goals and plans as he was beginning his faculty career. And I was really immediately impressed with his research vision and his drive. I suspected that I was talking to somebody at that time who would eventually have a big impact on Hopkins. Despite our focus areas being quite different, I'm in genetics, I followed his career from then on, meeting with him sort of here and there, offering career advice when I could, but really mostly just watching with interest to see where his research would take him as he developed his research program, as he grew a large research group, and began making substantial contributions. So when I stepped in as director of the Malone Center, I was excited to officially begin to work more closely with Mathias. So it turns out that those first impressions were correct. He has demonstrated a really exceptional level of creativity, productivity, and research impact. Mathias's work exemplifies the vision of the Malone Center. He makes technical contributions in addition to having great attention to clinical translation. He has developed close collaborations with clinicians to pursue research that has the potential to change how healthcare is delivered through computer and AI assistance. So for example, his recent research work rethinks how surgery is performed, monitored, and evaluated. Working towards autonomous surgical robotics, his research takes the perspective that human interfaces, human-centered design, and explainable AI can pave the way toward reliable and usable improvements in surgery. So I think this really demonstrates his attention not only to the technical side, but to the actual practical implementation and instantiation of what he wants to do to change how healthcare works. His work has been recognized broadly by the field. He's won numerous internal awards and external recognitions, including the Google Faculty Scholar Award. Beyond his own lab, Mathias is a great citizen of our intellectual community. He has been an engaged and energetic contributor to the broader activities of the Malone Center. I will say that without even needing to be pressed and nagged by his director, aka me, Mathias has suggested and work to organize new events for trainees, for faculties, and for visitors to the center. So he has come to my office without even me prompting to suggest activities such as new internship programs, outreach, social events, and more. He's a highly active and visible member, forging collaborations across the center, outside of the center in engineering, and in the School of Medicine. He really also pushes the center to grow and address the challenges that face all of our work as a whole. So finally, I'll share a small anecdote that recently made me smile. At the start of the semester, I had suggested that a couple of my PhD students take Mathias's deep learning class to further their knowledge, and one of my students came to my office just last week, like all excited, and told me not only was she very excited to be in his class, but that Mathias, she thought, was the best teacher that she had had throughout her advanced studies. So that really made me happy, but it demonstrated really Mathias's level of dedication and skill that he brings to his work, from research to center activities to teaching, and seeing that is really heartening. So Mathias, I am thrilled to work with you as a colleague and to see you receive this honor today. I offer you my congratulations, and I look forward to seeing the directions that you'll lead us in next. Before I wrap up, I want to express my gratitude to the generosity of Dr. John Malone. His personal interest in improving the efficiency, accessibility, and quality of healthcare inspires our work here at Hopkins to reach new levels. The Malone Center for Engineering and Healthcare was founded in 2016, reflecting Dr. Malone's belief that bringing together engineering and clinical advances could have a profound impact on healthcare. His support directly enables the work of our endowed Malone faculty, now including Mathias. Through this support, we can foster the unique, collaborative intellectual community and research programs that these excellent faculty pursue. So thank you to Dr. Malone. And next, we'll hear a few words from Dr. Russ Taylor. He is also a John C. Malone Professor of Computer Science. I think he was the first endowed Malone Professor and is a valued member of the Malone Center and the Director of the Laboratory for Computational Sensing and Robotics. And he's worked closely with Mathias for many years in each of these roles. So Russ, I'll hand the stage to you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Alexis. As Alexis said, I'm Russ Taylor. I'm, I guess, the first John C. Malone Professor of Computer Science with joint appointments in mechanical engineering, radiology, surgery, and otolaryngology. And I'm the director of the Laboratory for Computational Sensing and Robotics, which Mathias is also a key member of. Before proceeding further, I really do want to join Ed and Alexis in taking this opportunity to thank Dr. Malone for really the magnificent support of the Malone Center, these endowed professorships, and actually the enormous impact of his ongoing support for Johns Hopkins Engineering, which especially in many of these areas, I think it positions us truly to be the premier place in the world, and that's very much due to Dr. Malone's generosity. Now, it's been my distinct privilege to know and work with Mathias ever since he was came here as actually a research intern in 2017, not 1917, and as a postdoctoral student in 2017. And he's, ever since, he's been an amazing collaborator and a colleague, and I really am proud also to consider him to be a personal friend. So thank you very much, Mathias. I'm gonna just show a few slides to give some quantitative and also to help me remember the things I was planning to say and maybe a few I wasn't planning to say. Well, first, before Hopkins, Mathias already was an amazing person, and like all of us, he grew up. He had an early interest, I think, in computing devices, and I think it presaged what we've been interested in ever since. He had multiple degrees. All of his degrees in college at Friedrich Alexander University were considered outstanding, and his thesis was summa cum laude. I think that picture on the bottom came from one of your papers. That was one of the first machine learning papers for medical image processing. So, and he also had some industry experience and so forth. So he came to us really very, very well qualified. When I first encountered him, I knew this was a person I needed to work with and that my students needed to work with. And so again, I was really delighted to have him as a postdoc, and then persuaded him to stay as a faculty member, and I'm just thrilled. If you look at sort of the usual academic measures, this is only a part of them. Mathias is just off scale in every dimension. I mean, that's an amazing publication record. His work has already been being cited 1,200 times a year, and you just look at that trend. So And Alexis mentioned some of the awards, and that's only a small number, that the world is recognizing his impact. I do want to talk much more about his role as a mentor. I've been very, very lucky to co-advise students and to sit in joint research meetings where some of his students, some of my students, some other people's students, some have shared, some not. We talk about problems and their progress every week. And I've utterly amazed at both the students for which Mathias is sort of the lead advisor, but even others, how he can quickly get to the nub of a problem and provide really cogent advice. This, by the way, looks like a class. That's his group meeting. One of the things I've been doing is sitting in his research group meeting, partly because he's a friend and we share some students, but mainly because I learned things there. But this was just last week. I think it's sort of typical now. There are 32 students in that room. PhD students, master's students. I remarked that that's sort of the number that we kind of wish we had for class size, but I believe your class size is more like 150 right now, and that many wanting to get in. I will repeat what Alexis said. Every report I get from students who we share or I talk to says, this guy is the best teacher I've ever had. And I am sure from what I've seen, I believe it. I should also say that Mathias shows real concern for his students. Some he knows better than others. He gives good advice to them. He shows concern for their personal welfare. And I really would be hard pressed to think of a better role model for a faculty member or, for that matter, a leader in industry. As people know, the first part of my career was at IBM. And if you weren't here and I were still there, I'd want you. As a colleague, I've already alluded to some of this. We share research meetings. We co-advise students. We're on a number of grants together. We actually publish a lot of those 106 papers. I don't think I have the numbers here, but there's over 40 of them are co-authored in one way or another. And in the bulk of those, I would say that he's, whoa. This is why I believe in a robot. I don't do that. So I am talking too long. Let me just wrap up and just say, well, relative to this, I could go on like a faculty member forever. But just let me conclude by saying thanks. And also, we haven't even talked about Mathias's greatest success, which is his family. One of the other things that truly impresses me is at the end of those joint meetings, he says, I got to go. I have the kids. Clearly, I am just so impressed with all of you. And with that, again, let me just repeat my sincere thanks to Dr. Malone. And I should shut up and let a much more articulate person, Dr. Unberath, become our newest Malone professor. Mathias, you're up.
What an introduction. So thank you, Dean Schlesinger. Thank you, Alexis. Thank you, Russ, for your incredibly kind and moving words. I don't generally suffer from pronounced humility, but I feel that perhaps today I should have chosen a differently colored hat that better disguises my blushing. Thank you, dear students, colleagues, friends, and family here and listening in remotely, for choosing to be here today. Building prosperous communities is perhaps the single most important mission that me and my wife share. And so it means the world to us that we can celebrate today with you. You would think that as a faculty member whose job really quite frequently focuses on public speaking, I should be comfortable, well, casual even, to address you today. Well, I in fact find it difficult to carefully select the most appropriate words that carry an address of this caliber. So difficult, in fact, that during our wedding, for my groom's speech, I in fact decided to give a conference-style presentation instead of an address. This is why today I decided to write down what I was going to say, simply so that I don't forget what I actually wanted to communicate. The milestone that we celebrate today in my professional life is momentous, not just in one, but in two ways. It marks my promotion to the rank of associate professor and receiving tenure at the institution of my dreams. It also bestows on me the honor of receiving the John C. Malone Endowed Chair, a recognition enabled by the generous gift of John Malone, to whom I'm deeply grateful. I want to share with you first a rather selective overview of my trajectory up to this moment, and second, a brief reflection of my academic pursuits before closing with a criminally incomplete list of acknowledgements. Most of you know that I was not born in the US. My German accent reveals as much. Fewer of you will know that I was not in fact born in Germany either. I was born in Romania, for export, as my parents like to call it, with the extended family and myself relocating to Germany within about 6 months of my birth. Life in Germany was better, I suppose, but certainly not always easy. My uncle, Hannes, whom you've seen on one of the pictures that Russ showed in his slide, had to contend with particular adversity, academically. He was a high school student at the time, and when he joined the high school that later on several of us Unberaths would attend, the principal in T-shirts cautioned him and all of the family, well, you did well in Romania, well, don't expect the same level of performance here. They were, of course, wrong, because my uncle grew to be larger, because my uncle had an incredibly ambitious pursuit, a very high deliberation and relentless work ethic. And so he proved all of them wrong, growing to become a larger-than-life role model, joining Oxford as a Rhodes Scholar before taking multiple professorships across universities in Germany, while playing hide-and-seek and later Super Mario Kart whenever he came home to visit us, the family. I truly miss him dearly, as the everyday struggles of a professor in the academic ivory tower are rarely fully grasped by people with healthier life choices. What I admired was his pursuit of excellence, relentless ambition, and drive, which I like to believe is one of the inspirations that led me down a quite similar path. Lucky for me, and maybe not so lucky for my parents, my ambition and drive, you could say, was put into my cradle. As every kindergartner, I loved Legos just as much as the next person. But different from most, I was perhaps most enamored with the sensational final product. Not so much the cumbersome and detail-oriented path that led there. It probably did not help that I was most enthused by Legos that were many steps above my age's abilities. Building Legos then meant me supervising my father, encouraging him to try and build a little faster. Once done, I thanked him for his efforts with a somewhat imperial, "You did well," just like I told you to. Even today, I have not been able to free myself from an overly ambitious pursuit of even the most peripheral activities. I picked up running really quite recently, but have already amassed an impressive shoe collection comprising, I counted this morning, more than 7 pairs of running shoes for the various types of workouts and terrains and I might encounter when going outside. You see, the equipment is not going to limit me. My stamina, however, will. You will thus perhaps not find it surprising that when I got myself into computer-assisted medicine research during my master's and PhD, it quickly became clear to me that I had to try to make it to the best university in my field, Johns Hopkins. I was working in tomographic image reconstruction at that time, trying to get access to relevant clinical data. And really what felt like every other day, I received notifications of yet another standard redefining paper on those same topics from PIs, students, and peers working here at Hopkins, including Jeff, Webb, Ali, and Alex over in BME. Their state-of-the-art facilities, their seemingly trivial access to clinicians, equipment, and tight collaborations somehow allowed them to pursue research that did not simply follow known paths. No, they led their field to new beginnings. This pioneering spirit resonated with me at a very deep level, making me want to be a part of it. It is fortunate that today I can tell this story with the benefit of hindsight. The naive aspiration and drive could have been easily interpreted as megalomania or hubris. Standing here today, I get to call it hope and optimism. Since joining Hopkins in 2017, first as a visiting graduate student, then as a postdoc, an assistant research professor, thank you, Russ, an assistant professor, thank you, Greg, and now as the John C. Malone Associate Professor, I believe that thanks to my fantastic colleagues, collaborators, and students, we have delivered on the promise of leading computer-assisted medicine research. An example that gives me a strong sense of satisfaction is our work on computer simulating surgical procedures with a very high degree of realism. Because data is the primary driver of AI success, the ability to synthetically create, rather than experimentally capture, large amounts of labeled data of complex health procedures holds immense opportunities for surgical AI development. Refining the frameworks that we have initially developed in 2017 over the years, we have used this approach to create several first-of-its-kind AI-assisted solutions for surgical navigation and robot-assisted surgery. This line of work alone has resulted in more than 6 international Best Paper Awards for students in my team, recognizing the value that this new paradigm and the applications it enables will bring. What is even more satisfying than the recognition for my own team is the fact that other international teams have now adopted our tools and techniques for data synthesis, contributing innovative solutions that also earned them Best Paper Awards at the same in leading venues. Through this and many other projects, we have accomplished a lot, but more is still to be done. And this is how I see my mission evolve. Thanks to my immune system having similarly high aspirations for its function, particularly in my digestive tract, I recently had plenty of opportunity to witness healthcare as a patient. A lot, of course, is being done right. Hopkins is not for no reason a leading institution, and interacting with the providers and staff at Johns Hopkins Hospital really has been a privilege. Despite this, as a researcher in engineering and healthcare, I never felt a stronger disconnect between my research success in the ivory tower and the real world that we set out to benefit. With the increased security and self-assurance that tenure affords me, I am defining new aspirations with hope and optimism to identify ways of how we may bring our technological innovation to patients and execute on the ambitious vision that is the Malone Center, cementing it and Johns Hopkins as the preeminent place for healthcare innovation. Let me close with what I truly believe is grossly too short of an acknowledgement. I want to thank once more John Malone for his generous gift to Johns Hopkins that enabled the creation of Malone Hall, now a world-renowned hub for engineering and healthcare research. A gift that also made possible the recognition of giants in the field as endowed chairs, such as Russ Taylor, the father of medical robotics, Greg Hager, the father of surgical skills assessment and data science, and most humbly, now also me, father of Jonathan and Samuel. Thank you to my mentors, Russ, Greg, Alexis, Nasir, Mehran, and Andreas, for opening many a door for me and ushering me through them. I have learned a great deal, both from you making yourself available to me and simply by observing you elegantly dealing with the various challenges that you encounter. I have committed myself to paying this sideways and forward. Thank you to my collaborators and colleagues in the Whiting School, Axel, Swaroop, Chenming, and at the School of Medicine, Masaru, Pete, Tito, Threes, Greg, and many others for setting a most aspirational standard for what academic collaboration and mutual enrichment should look like, and cultivating a fertile ground for research excellence and trainee mentorship. Thank you to my postdocs, graduate students, visitors, and all other students joining the lab as research assistants. You have been fearlessly stepping into the various roles I challenge you to take on, leading world-class research while creating a welcoming and playful atmosphere that I would envy if I were to observe it in any other lab. Russ likes to say that the product of universities are the people, and I am justly very proud of whom our lab is producing. Thank you, Iris, for your unwavering support in the most challenging of times, the reasons for which sometimes only I understand. And for coming with me to Baltimore, where we have just celebrated the 7th anniversary of my 1-year-long postdoc, to which you had initially agreed. More importantly, thank you for holding me accountable in every aspect non-academic, which allows us to live a rich and fulfilling life. Thank you, Jonathan and Sam. You continue to teach me the importance of patience, self-determination, patience, and the unreasonable importance of the smallest gestures. Through it all, you make me, okay, sometimes a little angry, but on a greater scale, not only a better person, but a considerably better advisor and mentor. Today marks the celebration of an important milestone in my academic career. But a milestone is not the finish line. In fact, quite the opposite. A lot of important and challenging works lie ahead of us, as we are striving to improve healthcare through technology innovation. I cannot wait to continue embracing the challenges we will encounter along our way, knowing all of you on my side. Thank you very much.
So clearly, I think you can all understand why we all feel that Mathias, for the benefit of those online, sorry, I was going to say that clearly you can see why Mathias is particularly qualified to receive this chair, this endowed chair, and why we value him so much as a member of our Whiting School community. Congratulations to you. We do have a small token. You can remember this day in a physical format. Congratulations. And with that, I will again thank Dr. John Malone for his generosity. Thank you all for joining us. Congratulations, Mathias. And please join us for refreshments and a reception at the back of the room. Thank you.